Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Yes, hello, everyone. We're just starting now, a little bit later, better late than never. And yes, again, we're here at Dime Talk Show. As you all know, we are all here about diaspora, and today is a laughing place to really exchange. If you missed out last time, you really need to check out on the last discussion we had. It was the first opening where we diaspora we are coming in to share with you stories. Yeah, stories, stories that you'll only hear them on this platform, because some of our listeners today, we have one and the only one is a secret. I think you all know right by now. We have our guests here, and I'm waiting for Dr. Lucy to join in. We have a bit of delay and techie issue, but we are here on time, and we are so happy to be here because we have the stories for you, and none other than the really people you see every other day. They'll be here sharing with you about how was it, how was it for you guys when you came the first time in Europe, in the diaspora, wherever you are. How was it? People think it's a lot of honey coming off, I mean, a lot of free stuff on the road, I don't know what not. And if you missed out for last time, you really need to come back and check, because we were sharing about my experience, and together with Dr. Lucy, who is here with me, join me now. Hi, madam. Running. Welcome. Yes, we're just getting started here. Share with everyone. It's a discussion with everyone. We want you to join in, and you want to join this in. Really, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be about exchanging quite a lot of input and actually learning, right? How are you, Dr. Lucy, today? How are you feeling? How is the excitement? How?
I am doing well, and I am super excited about today's show and our guest. So I know she has a lot that she will be telling us, and we are going to be laughing, crying, and everything, learning about what not to do, because we haven't stopped going to the diaspora. So maybe we shall be able to help somebody not look so mshamba or something like that.
I remember your story was so funny. It was so funny how you landed in the US, right? That
In
was
my
the last
cute shoes
cute shoes and looking nice in the middle of winter.
and
Why
a
do we
skirt.
always, why do we always have to be introduced to this continent when it's winter? It should be summer, right?
I'm telling you.
So this is
Good
quite
to see you. How are you doing?
I am very well. Winter
Yeah.
is just going away. Hopefully, very soon it disappears and get the warmth. And I'm so happy to have you here, to have also our guest speaker who is very eager to be here, the lady in red. You guys, you should be happy.
Yes, yes.
Lydia, how are you?
Hey guys,
Hey, Miss Lydia, how are you?
hey, I'm good, and you?
Doing well, thank you.
We thank God for that.
I'm
I'm
telling
telling
you.
you, it's probably we are in different, not continent, but
Time
Yeah,
zones.
even you guys
time
Even
are in
zone.
different time zones. It's so
UK.
funny how it's one world, but yet we're different time zones every time.
I know, but
Correct.
UK, you're in another world, on another island. You should have your
Has
own
it,
continent.
is the winter almost done,
Where
Where?
Lydia?
No, we're just in the middle of it. But today the weather was actually nice. So I only
Uh-huh.
had one jacket on today. Normally I have two or three.
Yeah, so it's so I mean today we're just really everybody who's joining us, welcome, welcome. I think on Facebook, our own profiles. We are also on Twitter as well. And where else are we? We are also on Dime Talk Show page and our page and our and Dime Talk Show. We have also a YouTube channel, so I hope you're all listening us from there. And welcome, welcome, because today we're gonna be having a good laugh. It's all about how we diasporans, because we when we go back home we do tell a lot of stories, and Lydia can tell about it because I remember I showed you a story. I saw your story in one of the way we try to show off when we go home,
Mm.
and people think like everything is glowing and all that, and when you land here you go like, oh my god, they have one person who asked me, I didn't even know Europe have grass, the green grass. They didn't think that it's a lot of stories and a lot of things. Just before we go there, because some people don't know who you are, let's just go straight. First of all, even before going to you, even Dr. Lucy, introduce yourself. Who is Dr. Lucy? And before you do it, probably they're also asking, who is this lady talking there? So I'm Joy Sense, the
Who's
founder
talking
of
much?
much African women in Europe and African women in trade, and also the chairlady of the SACCO, our diaspora SACCO. And we're so excited to be here. I'm a lady with so many hats, but today I'm more in the jolly area because I want it to be fun and lively. And it's Friday after work, so we are all relaxed, looking forward to the weekend. So I'm looking forward to this discussion. So who is Dr. Lucy Mackenzie?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking time to spend time with us on a Friday. My name is Dr. Lucy Mackenzie. I am director at Brookhaven Schools, director at Brookhaven Gardens, and director elsewhere. But today I am a co-host here on our Dime Talk Show, and I cannot wait to hear what our guest has in store for us. We are looking forward to continuing this diaspora stories. So if you want to join us, please reach out to us, and we will be definitely glad to host you. Over back to you, Joy.
Yes, back to Lydia. We want to hear who is Lydia. I know Lydia, everybody know her. Anyway, most of the people tend to know, but I don't think everybody knows her. The first time we've had in our channel, right? This stage of ours here, right? We have been mean, eh?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you so much, all the way from Germany. I always mistake you from Netherlands. I don't know why. I always say Netherlands.
Yeah.
And I know you always tell me off. It's not Netherlands, it's Germany. Come on. And Lucy as well, all the way from the United States of America. I always say Obama's land. And then, yes, and then me here, I used to be Queensland. Now I'm the King's land. And now we have a king rather than the queen. And my name is Lydia Tett, and I'm a philanthropist, and I'm also an entrepreneur. And that's all I say. And Lydia Tett, and that's enough.
Makes the statements. I love that. So
Yes.
Let's just get now to the nitty. And I want to appreciate everybody who's listening to us. Share with the people, because these are really an eye opener. What we do here, we have it like fun, but it's real. It's a real thing, and it's sometimes very embarrassing when it happens. Right now, we can laugh, but sometimes it's not that interesting at the moment. And so we're trying to educate you. So as well as you're coming here, a lot of people are traveling. We'll be coming to Europe. Yes, you're going to come for these green pastures. I know there is opportunities out here more than on the ground, but are you well prepared? That's the whole idea here. And India, you coming from, I'm just imagining, did you come in winter or summer? Let's start from there, because that's where the joke starts. How was the
lunch? Sometimes they always say that. Anyway, at the end of the day, we get there. But the journey sometimes is so hard and it's so difficult, because either nobody told you the truth, or two, somebody actually did tell you the truth, but you thought you know better than them. And then the third thing is probably you didn't do your research, because as well as human beings, you're supposed to do your own due diligence. We don't do it. And then four, I think it's just total ignorance. It's just the ignorance that we live in thinking, oh, the grass is always green on the other side. And then you get there and you're like, oh, damn, it's actually worse than where I came from. But when I came, it was so funny, because when I came first, I came with because I was a dancer. So I came with the mushrooms dancing, and we went to somewhere called, where was this called? Camden, where they do a lot of performance. So I was in my head, I was like, okay, I love this country so much. And I was like, I'm coming back. And I'm thinking, I'll come back and go back to Camden. And, life goes on. I went and tell them I'm a dancer. Do you remember me? Not knowing that was just a space like KICC. Somebody can hire it, like any space you can hire and just go and do a performance. My ignorance, thinking when I come back, was like, oh my God, you're such a good dancer, you're a good vibe. So I'm thinking, if I come in like this, they'll hug me and they'll be like, oh my God, you're back. When I came back to the UK and I went there, that was hilarious. That was the shock of my life at that time. Now I can laugh about it. But at that time, it wasn't funny, because I thought, okay, I'm coming back and I'm going back to just dancing, because these people really respect dancers a lot. When I got there, they're looking at me thinking, who are you? Who are you? And I'm looking at them thinking, oh, you can't remember me. I was there dancing. They said they can't even remember. And they said, this is not a performance. This is a hall that people book and do events. I was like, whoa. So where do I start now? Oh my God. So that's my thought when I said, oh, I'm coming back to this place. There was no place to go back to. Ignorance on my side. That was total ignorance on my side. Total ignorance.
I know we are laughing right now, but I'm just imagining, how was the picture for you of UK before you came?
Well, because I used to travel a lot with the mushrooms, because I was a dancer. So we'd go to like places like Dubai, all these places, Switzerland and everything. And I was thinking, because when we came now to do a performance, I saw how people are just flashing money and people are just enjoying it. I was like, hey, when I come here, I'll just come to this place and I'll be rich. Like, I actually gave myself, Joy and Lucy, I gave myself 3 years. And I said, in 3 years' time, I'm going to be so rich. I'm going to have plots in Kenya. I'm going to have cars. 3 years later, I didn't even have a house. 3 years later in the UK, I was still eating from the bean, and I was still suffering, and I was still struggling like I killed someone back home. Oh my Lord.
Oh my goodness. Did you say eating from the bean? Because people don't really get this. Sometimes
I did.
Take you that far.
I did. Mine was so bad that it went that far, because what happened is I didn't have papers. Like, we all know that when you don't have papers, it's a real struggle. And that's what people don't even understand. In Kenya, you can walk the way you want. Okay, you're scared because of security. If you look back, and just because you don't want someone to steal your handbag or someone to steal your phone. Yeah. When you're in Kenya, but when you're here and you don't of any diaspora country, I would say, because everywhere you need to be documented, and you're not documented, you're walking, you're so scared, because if they catch you, they take you back home, and they take you without your money, they take you without your
anything
frozen. They take you the way they found with this T-shirt. You're going. Imagine. So I was like, so I'm here, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't have my papers, I don't have anything. If they ever arrest me, I'm done. I don't have anywhere to run to. I'm pregnant on top of that, and I'm thinking, seriously. And you know, that's the thing you should even think about. You don't even have papers, and you get yourself pregnant. So how?
I can just not believe it. That must have been
how are you going to bring the baby in a planet where you don't have papers, the dad don't have papers, you are all illegal at that time, you don't have work. So when I was pregnant with her, I was doing some sandwiches. I was working in a sandwich company, but the smell, I couldn't stand it. I kept on getting sick. So a Kenyan lady, and she was a Kenyan lady who was working there. She reported me that every time I'm taking off. So I was fired. So after I'm fired now, I don't have my documents. I just got that job in Nabati Mzuri. I can't go anywhere to look for a job. I'm pregnant on top of it. So what do I do? So we just stayed. I just stayed with the dad, and we were just in the room looking at each other. And so there was no food. So we had to go to in this country when they throw things in the bin, when they do fruits and the fruits are gone, at the end of the day, they don't come and sell it tomorrow. They put it in the bin. We go and pick it up. And we also had a neighbor, we were living in these subletted houses. And one of our guys, and God always has a way to protect you and to feed you. God always has a way to feed you. So one of the guys that was living in that room, he was working in the bakery. So every evening he comes back, he comes with so much bread, I don't know why, and he'll put it in the bin. So when he puts it in the bin, we'll go and pick it up. So you see, still God was still feeding us, even though it wasn't the way I would love to be fed, but he was still feeding us. But that was bad. That was bad. Joy, that was bad. And the thing is, I don't ever want to forget those days, because I know with the father of my children, my ex, anytime I tell him, he's like, he didn't want to remember it. But for me, I have to remember that. And for me, because that's my testimony. For me, that is showing me how far I've gone. So I can't ignore where I'm coming from, because the only way I can know where I'm going is for me to acknowledge and appreciate where I came from.
Wow. So this has been a learning. Go ahead, Lucy. I'm sure you're having now.
Yes. So clearly, Miss Lydia, it wasn't a bed of roses like you had anticipated for it to be. So when you got to the UK, did you know anybody who was like your host, or how did you just make it?
Yes. So my elder sister was here, but she was living in another state. So like she was in a very far state, like she was living somewhere called Leeds. I'm in London. I came to London. And where she was living as well, there's no way she would have lived with me, because she was an au pair at that time. So, and au pair, you cannot bring someone in your house. You're looking after someone's children. And then I also had, when I came to perform, I also had my cousins, because when I said I'm coming to perform with the mushrooms, I had my cousins who came to see me. So I knew they were here. So when I couldn't, they didn't even tell me that, Lydia, you're not going back to, they didn't even tell me. It's not like they told me they did not listen. They did not tell me. And I'm thinking, if they had told me, would I have made that decision? Probably yes, because I'm a tough-headed person. So probably would have just said, I don't want to hear you guys, I'm coming. So when I didn't have anywhere to go, they took me in. Lucy, we were like 20 of us, literally sleeping on the floor, and it's one room. So you go to work, you come back, you go to the kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
It's one kitchen, and the room is subletted. The landlord himself is living in the same property, was from Ghana. And they have, oh my God, it's such a mess. But we're here.
Please tell us that. Please tell us that, so that maybe there is somebody who is actually living through it now.
Yeah.
So tell us how does somebody even come out of it, unscathed, that you can appreciate where you're coming from, and now that there is a path to get to the place where you're dreaming to go to.
Yeah, I feel like because when you're in a position that you feel this is not where I want to be, first, for me, I appreciate where I am at that particular time. So I still appreciated where I was, because I felt like there are so many people who are in worse position than me. Okay. At least that's why I told myself, at least I'm in the UK, even though I'm sleeping on the floor. There's somebody somewhere in Kenya or in Africa or in somewhere who is in one ghetto. They're sleeping outside. They're scared who is coming to rape them, who is coming to beat them. They don't even have food. But at least where I was, even though we were sleeping on the floor, I still appreciated that space and thank God for that space. But after me thanking God, I'm like, the next step, Lord, this is not for me. This is not for me. So I still have to focus, and I still have to say, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm not going to be here. And people think, oh, tomorrow maybe Tuesday, literally Tuesday. No, sometimes it's not literally Tuesday. It's just tomorrow in your mind, because everything starts from your mindset. It's a mindset thing. So if you set up your mind already that tomorrow I'm not going to be here, tomorrow can be 1 week, can be 1 month, can be 1 year. But provided you focus on tomorrow every single day, it's tomorrow, you won't lose hope. Yes. But when you now quantify that tomorrow and put it down and say tomorrow is next week on Sunday. Next week on Sunday, you're still in the same position. Some people just lose up and they're like, well, I say tomorrow, give it up. I start doing whatever rubbish I want to do now because it didn't happen. But if you have this mindset of tomorrow is going to be greater, but you don't put it in a bucket or in a box and say that tomorrow is next week on Sunday, that tomorrow will come, because now you're working towards that tomorrow. But if you say Sunday and then Sunday reaches, what are you going to work towards? You're not going to work towards anything, because Sunday came, Sunday went, you're still in the same position. So as much as I was thanking God for where I was, I was like, tomorrow, this is not my space. So I still worked hard. I still saved the little money I could save, the little money, because 90% was going, shoop, we all know where to. And the little one that I was having, I was still saving it. And one day I just found myself out of that space.
Okay. And you were pregnant? You did mention you were pregnant. So were you pregnant at the time when you were living in that small space?
No.
Or you had not met?
No. The father of my children, we met in Kenya. Okay. So I left him in Kenya when I came, and I was like, don't worry, honey, I'm going to look for all those gold they tell us in the streets. All those gold, I'm going to pack them up, and then I'm going to send some to you, and then I'm going to ask you to come and join me so we can pick the gold together.
Yeah.
Oh, shock of my life. There was no gold, my friend.
I mean, Lydia, the way you explain it, I know you're talking and it's really the story of the whole journey when you came, right? So I'm just thinking, like, where was like there are those things that you do that are never happening in Kenya, right? That you came here like a culture shock, something that you never expected, and then I don't know, it could be children. For me, I had my children also. Yeah, I guess that was your first child here as well. Yeah. So it's like even a pampers or something, or traveling, or baggies, or I don't know, eating. I don't know what was the most like embarrassing, because you didn't know really, because of the way of the systems you worked in the UK. Maybe give us a bit of stories.
Oh my God. A lot of things, especially when it came to traveling. Joy, I used to actually get lost almost every day because the houses look the same. Everything looks the same. And then somebody asked me, oh my God, that's so silly. Somebody asked me, where are you going? I don't know. So how are they going to help you? You know, because when I'm leaving the house, I'm like, okay, this house. When I come back, that's not the house. That's not where. And then I start walking around, and then my accent is different. The accent is totally different. Everything is different. I think I literally struggled for almost 2 or 3 years before I could now start knowing the culture and start feeling like, okay, now I belong. It took me almost 3 years. Anything I say, they'll be like, what's that? Excuse me, sorry, miss. And so I had to spell it out. And I was thinking, what is this? So everything I said, I had to spell it out. The food was horrible. I couldn't eat for so long. It was so horrible. There are times I used to just cry and say, I didn't kill anybody in Kenya. I want to go. And the times I got lost, and then I don't know how to pronounce these places when they tell me, where are you coming from? So where are you coming from? I don't know. I say, well, the house like this, and it's like this, and they're looking at me thinking, well, all houses are like that, miss.
Oh boy, last orientation. Yeah. And I can imagine in the UK, you know how the whole, like in Germany, you can still get along, but UK, you have like a whole street the same.
Like they have the whole, let's say like Isili example, right? The whole Isili looks the same. Nowhere looks different. Why?
I never. Kwani that place, the houses don't have numbers?
They do have numbers, but now I don't even know the name of the street, because in my head I was like, I know where this house is.
Kenya style, eh?
Yeah. And you know Kenya style, so I know where this house is. I will look for that house. There's a time I even spend in people's houses that I don't even know them because I was so lost. And this guy was like, I'm telling you, God has protected me. You know, I look back and I'm like, Lydia, was that God who protected you? Because that was so stupid of you to sleep in someone's house that you don't even know. I was like, I don't know where I'm going. My God. The man said, come and sleep in my house. I went and I slept in his house naively, and that guy didn't do anything to me. Thank you, Lord, for protecting me. The next day I come out, I don't have travel card. You know those travel cards? You have to slot it in. Oh my God, that was a journey. That was a journey. Now when I see people come from Kenya sometimes and they don't know things, I just help them. Sometimes I laugh, and I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing with them. I'm not laughing at them because I'm like, guy, I went through this. Don't worry.
What
I
about
was
the
like
children? How was it to raise children in the UK? Because I found it quite totally different from back at home.
Oh, raising children was difficult. Oh, raising children. Wow. Now they're big girls. Glory to Jesus. These children, what? Okay, one day, I'm trying to teach my daughter Swahili. She's only 3 years old. We enter a train, and then she's trying to misbehave. That's my firstborn, who is now 25. Thank you. By that time, she's only 3. And then I'm like, where we? Sinda kuchapa. Sinda kuchapa. And then everybody's looking at me. Everybody's looking at me like, because the way my daughter is reacting, like, I don't understand what you're saying. And you know, so she's looking at me like, I don't understand what you're saying. And then she even opened her mouth and said, Mommy, what are you talking about? I don't understand. I said, and then I said in Swahili again, I said, usijali mami. I said it in Swahili, usijali. Ukifika kwa nyumba, utajua ni nini nilikuwa nasema. Like, oh, mommy, now I understand. Now I understand what you're saying. I looked back at the people in the train and I was like, she actually understands what I'm saying. Funny enough. And oh my God, no, that was hard. And it was so hard dealing with the children because then they want to go outside and play and fit in with the crowd. But I always teach them to stand up, but they didn't know how they're going to stand up. And one day my daughter came to my house and she was in nursery school. Again, this is my firstborn because I found it really hard with my firstborn. The second and the third, at least now you understand the culture, you know, because she was just born after I came. So when she was 5 years old and she was in nursery, she came back home and she was like, Mom, why am I dirty? Why am I so dirty like this? And my friend is so clean and my friend is beautiful and her hair is long like this. And why am I like this? And I was like, wow, okay. Now how do I help this girl? So she started, so for her to really know that. So I said, first of all, I prayed because I'm very prayerful with a lot of things that I don't understand. And that one I didn't understand because I didn't know how I'm going to tell her. Because again, you don't want to say something that now she'll go to school and tell the white child maybe, oh, my mom said this and that. And then now you're in trouble. Because you know you have to really mind what you're saying. It's not like Kenya, you can just say almost anything you want, you know.
Yeah.
Here you have to be very, very careful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I remember one guy that came in and he just looked at one teacher. We went to school and said, oh my God, that woman is fat. I said, what do you mean? Oh my God, you can't say things like that here. He said, but I said, no, you can't. Yeah, but in Africa, I said, but this is not Africa. You cannot say that because when they hear you say that, you'll be in so much trouble. It's not like back home, you just see somebody in the street, oh, menona, say you oh, mekonda. You can't do that here.
Yes.
That boy made me laugh. He made me laugh. So I told my daughter, I said, sweetheart, you're a beautiful Black African princess. And then this is so do you mean that she's not a princess? I said, no, she's also a princess, but she's not from Africa. You are a princess from Africa. So every time before she left the house, I'll affirmation. Who are you, baby? I'm a beautiful Black African princess. Do you know the time when this girl was 16, 17, they called me at school and they asked me, is this girl a real princess? And I said, why? Because for 5 years, he actually thought she was a real princess of Bunyala.
She was.
Yeah, they didn't told her that. Yeah, that's a title you have to carry and everything, but it's not, because we were watching Nollywood movies. So one day she was asking me, she thought she was those princesses, and I told her, no, in Kenya we don't have those princesses. She was a little bit disappointed because she thought she was a princess. Oh my God, that was so funny. And then I had hot chocolate, and I was drinking hot chocolate with straw because I saw everybody having a straw. So I enter McDonald's, I see everybody put it. I see everybody putting the straw, not knowing that these things that they're asking for are soft drinks. Mine is not soft drink. I went like this. I went like this. The woman came to me and said, "Oh, okay, are you okay?" I said, he said, "No, you don't drink hot chocolate with the straw." I was so embarrassed. I saw everybody putting this straw. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put the straw in my hot chocolate as well. That was the most hilarious thing. I would never forget. The way it burned my tongue, because I just feel like this.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. And it reminds me of another lady who also commented in our box where she had the sachets, sugar sachets, you know, she put the whole thing. So it's
with a paper also.
So these are things that can happen.
Oh my God, no way.
I know, somebody's really happy. I can see here we have Chigo. Welcome as well. We are having a good time here, laughing, and also we can laugh at it now, but then it's not a joke. So it's about diaspora stories, how we came to diaspora, the first impressions. You know, sometimes they give you so many stories when you come home, but really it's not that easy. It's really a roller coaster. It takes you time to get you to the culture, to the food. The food is the most interesting one because you're lucky you're UK, but no UK, really your food is horrible. I have to say. I had a culture shock when I came to live in UK for 3 years. The food, one time in the restaurant, never again. The food is also different. So there's so many things that happen to all of us. And Lydia Tett today is our guest. If you missed out also other shows, have a look at them. We did one between me and Dr. Lucy, which is quite hilarious as well. Quite a lot of things that really happen when we come the first day, especially in Europe. This time we're in UK, coming from Kenya, of course. And Lydia, it's just exciting how you're making them look so funny right now, and I can imagine the drama is done. How was the weather? How was the weather? Let's talk about now the weather, because the weather is a huge topic, especially when you come to these countries. How was the weather?
The weather was so bad. You know, I was even telling my daughter the other day. I said, because there was sun outside. And I was telling my daughter, I said, don't let that sun deceive you, because we were laughing. I said, she was like, Mom, it's so cold. And I said, look, and there's sun. So when I came, one day I'm like, because it was really, really cold, because I came in December. I came on the 9th of December. Oh. And then I saw, 1 minute. Oh God, there's fire alarm going on. Just 1 minute. I'm coming back.
Go ahead. As you do that, just go ahead. And then as you check out, we have to take safety, of course. We are cooking, we are mothers, we are multitasker. We're going to take a short break, and then we come back as she comes to really tell us more about how her story was coming the first time. This time you're talking about the weather. Hold the thought just right there as we get back in a few seconds.
Here's a funeral cash plan that guarantees you free coverage in the future. Throughout your career, you have made contributions to a funeral plan. Eventually, you retire and cannot afford the premiums, and your policy expires. Are you heading in that direction? Let Diaspora Insurance take care of you. When you take out a Diaspora funeral cash plan, you'll never have to worry about this again. Your future coverage is guaranteed. You can get a free quick quote right now and start the journey to free coverage in the future when you cannot afford your premiums. Your peace of mind is only a WhatsApp message away. +44 770-3838-304 or +27 659 070 419. Get in touch now. 24/7 quote and apply at diasporainsurance.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, we are back. We are back. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are still having a great discussion here, and I'm seeing quite a few who are joining in, saying hilarious. Keep up the good work. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. Some of you on YouTube, Facebook, and different kind of platform. So it's all about sharing about stories. So Lydia, you were just telling about the weather. Give us that. I'm so interested. Last time it was very funny from Lucy. Let's hear from yours.
Yeah, so this is me looking at the weather outside, and I'm thinking, it's the sun. Come on, guys. I don't even know why these guys are making a deal out of it. So I went with my t-shirt, just not dressed nicely because I saw the sun. That's what triggered me. So I was like, there's a sun. What? There's a point I couldn't walk. I was freezing. There was no sun. It's just the sun, but it's cold. So I just went with the shirt like this. I had to stop in the streets and ask somebody for their jacket because
the streets.
I didn't have money. I didn't have money to go and buy a jacket. I don't even know. I've never even gone to a shop before to buy no jacket. So I was just freezing. I just said, this guy is sorry, I am very cold. I am very cold. That's all I said. I just said, sorry, I am very cold. I'm very cold. The guy just looked at me and just shook his head. And he said, where are you coming from? I said, I'm from Kenya. But I came here to see a friend and I'm very cold. So the man gave me one of his jackets. Can you imagine? Because he had
it on.
Yeah, he had it on. So he gave me the one inside because the one he had on was very heavy outside. Yeah. They gave me the one inside, which was a little bit not too heavy.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh my God. I was sick for almost a week.
Wow. Why?
The cold entered my body real deep.
Wow.
It entered my body real deep. So that was just hilarious. Oh my God. So nowadays, I was like, if I see the weather, and then I went and I bought a heavy jacket. Like, so even if I see sun, I'm still wearing my heavy jacket. And I meet people are looking at me thinking, wow, it's not that cold, honey. But I said, I will never take chance again. And that has stayed in my mind until today. After all those years, I still do not go out without the proper jackets because that was torture in my head.
Oh my God, that's right. Because I know even when I came here as well, and I didn't even care about fashion. You just take whatever you get and wear it and have it. Yeah.
Yes.
And it was winter and snow. I know in UK. Anyway, how was the experience with snow? Because I know you got snow for the first time also in Europe, right?
Yes.
How was your experience with that?
That was nice. That was nice. When I saw the snow outside the window, I was like, what? These are only things we see in the movie. And then silly me, I go outside, I start playing with them. I start playing with the snow. Of course, again, I got sick the next day because snow is really cold. But I was so excited. This was me just like this in the window. I was just like this, like, wow.
It looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Wow. All I could say is, wow. Wow. That's all I could say. Like, wow, this is beautiful. I was so mesmerized. I was happy. I was overjoyed to see the snow. You think the snow will pay my rent? I was so happy. Or if I take the snow, they will turn to gold.
It gave you that piece of enjoyment in between all this coldness, because the only positive thing, because it's snowing and it's nice, and let's talk about time. Time is also something that we African really have issues with. How was time?
Time-wise, I'm telling you, you know where I used to work, because when I had my baby now, fast forwarding, I had my baby. I started working as a dancer in a dancing company. That was a proper company that when you come in, you have to swipe your time that you come in. So we were meant to start work at 9 and finish at 5.
Okay.
And then my boss was from Ghana. He was Mr. Jikuno. He was so strict. Mr. Jikuno was so strict that if you're late for 15 minutes, if you're late for 1 minute, he cuts 15 minutes out of your pay. So if you come 1:09, he takes 15 minutes out of your wages. If you come 16 minutes past 9, he takes 30 minutes. If you're late 31 minutes, he takes 45 minutes. That's how he. So when your pay comes and they've deducted all this money, you're thinking, wow. So I think his strategy helped a lot of us as African people to keep to time. Up to now, I do keep in time. So when I started going to schools to do workshops, I'll be there like 1 hour earlier, 30 minutes earlier. But that's because I lost so much money. You think even when he was doing that with money, you think discipline will come after just a month. But it took like 1 year for me to really, really now fit in this system of time. And then you have a meeting, and then you're like, okay, if I'm there like 10 or 15 minutes late or 30 minutes late, maybe that's when they're getting in. They're almost finishing. When you think they're getting in, they're almost finishing. And I'm like, what time did you guys get here? They say the meeting starts at 10. I'm like, yeah, but it's only 10:15. They're like, well, we started already. They start back on time.
Yeah.
Back on time.
No discussion about that.
No discussion about that. The other day, I had a meeting with this guy from the council because of the event, Kenyan Friends in the Park. So the guy said the meeting is 10. So 5 minutes to 10, I'm like, okay, let me put it on and then go make a cup of tea quick. And by the time I put it on, the guy was there waiting. I was like, whoa, it's not 10 o'clock already. What are you doing here? So they are bang on time. When they say the event starts at 4 to 7, exactly 7 o'clock event is done. We say event starts at 4, it will start at that 7. That's when now the event starts. So I think we've taken all this no discipline time thing too far, and we've taken it to other people's countries. But these people, when it comes to time, whoa, they're very strict.
But does it know? How does that now relate? Now you're so disciplined, then you go to Kenya on the holidays. How does that? Because for me, I really suffer with that one. Yeah. When you go now to Kenya and you have appointment with people, 1 hour. There's one time I was so mad. It was 1 hour. For everybody is okay, but 1 hour is a lot of time to wait for someone.
I'm telling you, even keeping appointments, here, there's a lot of things that diaspora have taught us, or there are a lot of things that UK or Germany, and I'm sure it's a lot in diaspora countries that have taught us. If you say you have a meeting, even if that meeting was arranged 1 month prior, even 2 months, even 3 months, it's in their calendar.
Yeah.
You don't have to call them and remind them. In Kenya, I found out that I went to an appointment one day, and not once, and that's why I'm saying Kenya, because that's where I come from, so I can only relate with Kenya. Probably happens in all the African countries. I go to an appointment, and Joy is not once, it's not twice, it's not 3 times, it's just a repetition of bad habits. I go to an appointment, somebody say, nasi ungenipigia jana kunikumbusha, mbona hukunikumbusha? And I'm thinking, excuse me, sir, or excuse me, madam, appointment was made, emails were exchanged, WhatsApp were exchanged, phone calls were exchanged. What else do you want exchanged? Why should I call you a day before? That means that 13th, that you're supposed to put 13th of this day down, you didn't put it down, and you don't check your calendar. Yeah. So many times. Oh my God. One day, even when someone, the guy was like, oh, ametoka tu saa hii, ameenda sijui wapi, but amesema tuanunulie lunch mukimgoja. I was like, I did not come here for lunch, girlfriend. I came here for business. So tell your whoever, you can eat that lunch on my behalf, and tell your whoever, I'm gone.
Yes, because you have tight calendars, business bullet. I mean, that's something else. And when we go, for me, I know I definitely suffer from that. When I go back, I need 2 weeks to adjust. Even shopping, like now in Germany, we shop. Even in UK, you do it yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And then in Kenya, you have this guy want to shop for you, and he's like, Like I left my kids in the car because I'm that kind of a parent who go to the shopping with kids there. And says I will take them, then you rush to the shop, buy what you want. That's what we know, right? And
Yeah.
then we go to Kenya and you have this guy doing. I said, always take my papers and I pack myself. Don't worry, I'll do it that quickly.
Yeah.
I'm off.
And I think Joy, I think that's why sometimes in Kenya people tend to not like people from diaspora. Okay, not all of them. I always don't like painting everybody with the same brush. But a lot of people just don't like diaspora because they look at us and they say, you're boasting, una jiringa, una nini. But it's not that. It's because we've learned a different culture. We've learned a different. So for us to survive in UK or whichever country you're in, you have to balance the culture of Kenya and the culture of this country.
Yeah.
So when I go back home, the things that I've mastered in this country so that I can survive, when I take it back home, they say unajiringa. Things like time. There's so many important things that actually we should adapt, like in our country, and it will help us develop. But we don't want to adapt that. So if I go with it and I do it, oh, unajiringa. If I go to it and I say it, oh, usituongeleshe hivo, una madarau. But that's not it. It's just the fact that, kama yo ya supermarket, you see somebody, it's like, are you getting paid to do this thing? Are you not getting paid? Do you like your job? Don't you like your job? If you don't like it, why don't you look for another job? They're like, alafu anaongea, na mami, uliona sijui niliweka wapi? And they're in a hurry. And they're thinking, dude, it's okay. I don't want you to do it. I can do it myself. Oh, I'm attacking because we are used to, nobody packs for us in diaspora. We do everything for ourselves. And we're so used to doing everything for ourselves. So even something small as packing in a supermarket, somebody will say unajiringa. I'm even helping you. I'm helping you not to do your job, but you're still getting paid anyway. So I'm just helping you do something. Because I want to do it faster. I want to do it the way I want to arrange it. You know how we are here in diaspora, we are. There are bags, and then you want this bag, only things for the toilet goes here. Yeah. This bag, only this. You know how you want to pack your stuff. There, they want to mix your stuff, and they're doing it slowly, and you want chap, chap, chap. We're used to this life of chap, chap, chap. Somebody thinks unajiringa. So there's some things that actually needed to be adapted in both cultures. Yeah. Even in Kenya, even here, there's some cultures that I feel like they still need to adapt from Kenya as well.
Yeah.
I understand. But this is their country. So they don't have to adapt anything. But when I go back to Kenya, don't look at me and think Nina Jiringa or whatever, because I have two cultures, two traditions, two countries. Everything is two, and I have to balance both two for me to survive where I am.
Oh yes, and two friends. I don't know about you guys, about friends, the British and the African friends. And that's another story. For me in Germany, when I have an event, I have to be very careful when I mix the Germans and the Africans.
Hey, it's just too much.
And the way of, because we had this, I don't know about you, Dr. Lucy, and you'll also tell us, when you, I don't know about how much you are because we interact also with the communities around, right? Mm-hmm. But I had this meeting, and every time if I go to the German group, people, I think completely different than when I'm going to an African meeting with people. So it's like these two hats, you have to keep changing your personality. I don't know, do you find yourself in this situation? Because I found myself like, do I really need to be this? Because sometimes, but I say, even if I put my African in, these guys won't get it anyway, you know? They will not get what I'm trying to get. And the African said, now you stop your German thing, you know? So have you ever had such situations?
I would say that it's a constant, depending on where you are and the people that you're going to surround yourself with. For say, if you're going to an American or an American event, you know for sure you have to be there on time. When you're going to a Kenyan event, you don't have to be on time, because on time means when we get there is when on time will be. And so yeah, so you find that even people, when they have invitations and they're going to invite both both cultures, you find that the Africans will have a different time card from the Americans, because now the Africans will be told way early, because they know they will not come early enough. They will come late. But late is actually the true time that the Americans will have the time. So I have seen that that is something that, like Lydia is saying, that is something we need to adopt. That we need to adopt, to be on time for things. And yet we are not late for church. We are not, although if you're going to an African church, sometimes you're late. You're not late to work. We are considered one of the most hardworking, timely people, even in the US. So we don't get late to work. We just choose to be late for certain things. And
Wow.
sometimes you're like, why? We need, our clocks don't tell a different time. They don't know we are African. The time is the same whether I'm an African or I'm an American or I'm somebody from the UK, Germany, wherever. Our times are the same. So we shouldn't have this excuse of I'm going to go somewhere late just because it's an African. And you find that it is something that you struggle with when you even hear you've created an appointment with someone and they come strolling in an hour late and they are not even apologetic. And you are trying to maximize the time that you're visiting Kenya to see as many people. So you slot people. I'll see you for the first 2 hours, then you give yourself time to travel to the next meeting. But somebody's coming in an hour late, but they want to extend as though you have all day and nothing else to do.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Same to
Yeah.
you, Lucy. Lydia.
What Dr. Lucy said, thank you, Dr. Lucy, for that. Some of them, what Dr. Lucy rightfully said, especially about you go and see somebody and then they want to extend the time. Some even get angry. You know, for me, and this is how I live. I cannot wait for you for an hour. Forget, I'm gone. They'll come and they'll be angry. Si jam ndio ilikuwa mingi, sijui nini. And I'm thinking, are you even considering my time? You're so selfish that you're not even thinking that you've kept somebody waiting for an hour. And then what I've realized as well in Kenya, niko tu hapa kwa kona na come. I'm just here. Niko tu hapa. Niko hapa for an hour. Seriously.
Hour.
I do not wait. I'm gone. And now you have to find me where I am. I'm not going to give you an appointment again. I don't care if it's an investor. I don't care who you are, especially an investor. That means you're not even serious. You're not even serious. And even them, they do that. And you're thinking, how can you even do that? That means your product or your services, I don't even need them. Because if this is how you're selling them to me at the beginning, point of entry, how are you actually even delivering to your clients?
I know.
So it's I think we have to adapt according to a space where you are at that particular time. Just like Dr. Lucy rightfully said, if they tell you going to a Kenyan event, and I've seen, because I'm sometimes when I'm part of the organizing team, because most of the events I'm always part of organizing team, and I'm there. Of course, I've organizers. You have to be there earlier to organize stuff. And they say event starts at 2. There are some Kenyans, okay, few, but there are some who will make it there for 2, and they'll be so angry, and they will complain, and they are right to complain. They are right to be angry. Because even sometimes their own event organizers say 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, that's when they're bringing chairs. That's when I don't know what have not even been done. Them themselves, they're not even ready. Do you understand? So it's both ways. But again, like if it's other communities, they'll be ready. Event starts exactly 2 o'clock. The MC have taken the microphone. Even 5 to 2, they have the microphone already, just waiting for 2 o'clock, and they start. For us, we're just the opposite. So we adapt with every situation and every space that we find ourselves. If you find yourselves in people where you say 2 o'clock, they come at 6, you come at 6. If you find yourself where people, they say straight, they come at 2, you come at 2. So it's just about adaptation. You have to adapt. But honestly, this time thing, we have to try and change it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Good behaviors we have to keep, because some of these are good. They make us more organized and manage our life. I mean, we all have 24 hours. It's just how you manage your 24 hours, isn't it? And time, you can't believe it goes really fast. But I cannot avoid. There's one question, Dr. Lucy, you had the last one. Do you want to ask that one? So that we can really make sure that we really have hit all that. Although I had one burning one, but I'll do it later. It's a very interesting one.
So, Madam Lydia,
Yeah.
before you tell us what you're doing and what your parting words, what do you think about black tax?
What? I think that black tax should be scraped totally from the parents, first of all. And if the parents didn't do it, I think the children should. The children should divorce their parents automatically when they feel like, okay, this one is the black tax of the family. It's wrong. And then we have parents, and I was just having this discussion with my daughter the other day, and she gave me some insights that are very important. And she was like, the reason why a lot of most not a lot, but most of black people actually have so many children is the same thing, black tax. They say, okay, if I have 10 children, at least from the 10, 3 will help me. Do you understand? And you don't realize the life you're giving these children. You've brought them in a world that they're suffering. You're actually making these children suffer just because you're so selfish that, oh, these children will help me someday.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you help yourself before having these children and say, these children will help me someday? Okay, so parents should stop that. And then now children as well, when they grow up and they feel like, oh, so I'm only brought in this world to be giving and giving. And you know what? Because they gaslight you and they manipulate you, and you're so manipulated that you're scared. You actually give your money without thinking.
Yes.
Because your brain, because it's all in the brain. So from little child, you've been told you have to help your mom. It's your mom and your dad. The money is for your mom and your dad. So even if you have children, you don't think of your children, because your first priority, your number one, and you've been taught that so many times. You've been conditioned to think that is mom and dad that are number one. Anybody else is useless, or your sisters or your brother. That's why you see a lot of Africans, people, especially in diaspora, we have children, but our children are suffering. We don't have time for them. And yes, I know it's not all crimes that start with parents not being there, but it's most of them. And those most can be avoided just because parents are not there. But why are we not there? We're not there because when you think of the tax that you have to pay, you have to work, you have to work. And who is struggling? Your children are the ones who are suffering.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, if your children are in prison, if your children have killed somebody, if your children have become rogues in the streets, they'll still come and abuse you. They will not say, oh, Lydia's children are like this because she was suffering for us, she was our black tax. No, they'll be like, look at her, she can't even look after her children. People in diaspora should wake up and say no to black tax. No. If our parents couldn't say no to it and sort themselves out when they were meant to sort themselves out, it's not our responsibility. And I'll tell people, stop the black tax. Do it as, oh my God, I have to help my mom. Yes, do it as a gift, but not in duress.
Yes. Wow. I couldn't agree with you more. But I would love for you to tell people what you're doing, and just go ahead and tell us what you're doing and give us your parting shot.
And her upcoming event, don't forget that.
Yes, everything.
Everything. Okay. I'm so passionate about culture because I feel like a lot of children have been denied their culture. I've met people who are saying, I don't care whether my children speak Swahili or not. I don't care if they know my culture. What would that help them with? But what people don't understand is a lot of children become rebellious because they don't know their roots. They've lost their identity. Every child needs an identity. We need our identity. So if you deny them that identity because you're thinking, oh, now they're in white man's land, they don't need that, you're actually robbing them something. And when you rob them that thing, now they cannot identify with the thing you've robbed them with. They are going to try and look for something else to replace what you've robbed them with. And by looking for that something else, that's when probably they end up in trouble. So I found out that there's a lot of children who don't even know anything about their roots or where they come from. So I do a lot of cultural teaching. So I do African dancing, African drumming, I do tie-dye, I do mask making using natural clay, I do beads making, all things Africa. Okay. And also because I'm a very cultural person, I do plays. I'm a theater play director. I write plays. I wrote one play called The Darkest Hours of Victory, which was about the Mau Mau of Kenya, because I felt like the Mau Maus, every time we have Jamhuri, is all about investors, but they forget that Jamhuri is freedom. Even in October, when we do Mashujaa, what does it mean? We celebrate our heroes, but nobody celebrates them. Dedan Kimathi's wife was in hospital the other day. People had to fight and scream before she was helped. Things like that should not happen. They should know where all these veterans are and help them anytime they need help, because of them we are what we are today. Even though, yes, they came and now there's too much corruption, but they played their part for us to be free from the white man. And so I wrote a play, Darkest Hours of Victory. And this play is 98% based on true facts, because I went to Kenya and I saw Gitu Akahengeri. And Gitu Akahengeri, in fact, is the one that initiated the payment of the Mau Mau. So I went and I saw him, and he knew so much. I'm telling you, ignorance is bad, yeah? I asked him one silly question. Right now, I see like it's a silly. Do you know this guy? When I saw him, the time I met him was 78 years old, and he was still crying. The man was not crying, like literally tears coming out of his eyes when he was telling me the things they went through when they were fighting for our freedom. Because when I entered his house, at that time, who was the president? I think it was Uhuru, not Uhuru. It was it was Uhuru was the president, and he didn't have his picture on the wall. And then I said, why don't you have his picture? Because you have other people's pictures. He had so many people's pictures. And he said, he doesn't respect what Kenyatta did. So he said, he's the one who told me what he believes or he thinks. So he told me so many stories, and those stories were so painful. I couldn't even write them. I couldn't write all of them because some of them were so painful. And he was crying, and I was thinking, oh my God, what do I do now? So I was looking at my friend. I'm like, oh, what do we do? This old man crying. So you can imagine at 78, this man still crying. There's no counseling. No counseling was done. No reconciliation was ever done. These people are just left in the village to sort out and deal with their pain. So they're still in pain. That's why I took it upon myself, and I wrote a play, The Darkest Hours of Victory. And that play, we did it, and it was very successful. It was a nice play. It's based on the Mau Mau, the freedom of Kenya. And I'm also with Nollywood also a Nollywood actress. I wrote a play in 2015. And the play was actually not the play, a movie, and the movie went to Nigeria, and it was featured in a Silver Galleria in Nigeria. I was there for 2 weeks, and I've also acted in some Nigerian movies. One of them is called Apostle Do Good. Another one is called a 69. That's just a number. And then the other one is called, what's the name of the other one? In fact, that's the one that took me to Nigeria. God, I can't remember the name. I'll remember, I'll tell you. And I'm also an event organizer. So I help people sometimes to organize events. I'm involved in a lot of events organizing. And the biggest event that I've organized is called Kenya and Friends in the Park, which is coming on 29th and the 30th of July. So you are all invited. I know, Joy, I've been there before. So Lucy, you've not been there, Dr. Lucy. So you're
invited. She's coming.
This year, you're coming. So
in Europe to end with that time.
this year we are planning different things, and we pray that it works. And I'm also a mother. This is not a job, actually. This is a responsibility, because job, you can get fed up and leave it, but responsibility you can't. So I'm also a mother of 3 beautiful angels, a single mother of 3 beautiful angels, and that's responsibility. And I'm also an MC. I host events. I also speak in schools sometimes, so just to motivate students. And I'm also a philanthropist. There's a school in Kibera that we are trying to put it up. And above all, I can just say, guys, stand out and don't fit in.
Wow, wow, wow. Love that. Stand out and not fit in. And I think you need to make a movie for this diaspora discussions we are talking about. That's your next challenge. We need a movie of how the diaspora really, because it's a story that we need to get the people get it. We put it in a book, but I think when you have it in a video, in a story, it's really sinking the right way because we love movies. But thank you so much for being here with us. We love what you're doing. We follow you every time. We network as well, and quite a lot of connection between, because you're not there far away from Germany and other countries. So we are really looking forward for a lot of activities. We got a surprise coming very soon, hopefully, for you guys out there. Check out Europe, check out. I'm not gonna say it now because it's gonna spoil the broad, but we're gonna have so many things coming up, and connection with our connection with Lucy, of course, with Dr. Lucy. We are not forgetting you as well on this one. You're on board. That's why I'm saying you're already on board. You better
Yeah.
extend your visits in Europe. So and yeah, and thank you for making time. Maybe you have another last word, Dr. Lucy, for Lydia before we close. We are over exactly 1 hour, a few quarter past.
Actually, just to say thank you, Lydia, for coming to share your story and motivate others who may be in the same situation that you were in several years ago. We don't even count the number once they've passed 5 years. So thank you so much for making time. And we thank our viewers for even spending time with us. We appreciate you, we value you, and we cannot wait to see what we are going to do this year together. And we are cheerleaders for everything you're doing. Keep pushing, keep soaring, keep thriving, and unapologetically be you.
Amen.
Yes,
Yes.
and I'm seeing here some comments for you, leaders. To you are a walking testimony of God's providence. Hiyo kulala hujui ya wapi na jacket ulipewa kwa baridi. Of course, only God, as you said. And I know you have your statement. You only say
It
uh,
can only be God.
be God. Yes, that one. It's like your trademark. We hear
Mm,
this, and it's really, we hear it through your stories as well. It's
mm,
very powerful there as well. And I can see I love the concept here. Tamani says, I love the concept of the talk show making Africa visible in the world. Thank you so much, Tigo. Yeah, so thank you everybody who joined us and those people gonna listen later. These are platform we already inviting most of you. Next guest is another surprise. Could be a man. We've done women. This time we're gonna look for men, and we want to hear the whole version of diaspora stories, especially when they came to Europe, the culture shock and all that. It's a laugh. It's an experience. It's a knowledge sharing and learning for those people who are looking forward to come to Europe, or even relating ourselves with all these stories, because they're all
mm.
similar, whether in UK, US, Germany, is they're all similar, quite similar. And you can tell that because we share this quite a lot on this platform. Check out on our YouTube channel as well with all the other discussions we've had before. And this show was also sponsored by Diaspora Insurance as well. We are very proud of what they are supporting the diaspora, especially in repatriation, and a lot of a cash cover that they have brought up. And we'll be having more supporters coming on board as well, and also to share with you what else you can do as a diaspora out here. There's so many things that are going on, and we want you to keep up to the speed of getting to know how you can get involved in all these activity. Events are coming up, summer is coming. Guys, get out, enjoy all these events. It's a great place to network. Yeah, my network, my net worth. You know that. If you don't go to Lydia's event, you will not meet me there, and you don't meet another one there who will also lead you to the next connection. That's how we
Mm.
all grow in diaspora, with networking through these events. So I encourage you to go to so many events. We have one of our own, which is coming up in June, and the June is a very interesting event for us. It's on 3rd of June. I've shown you there. The Await Summit is coming up on 3rd of June. We're going to be in Brussels, and we have very excited to really have this every year. This year we have everybody in the summit, everybody coming from different countries. We also heard from UK last year. We were here in Germany, Switzerland, and Holland. But right now we're all going to there. And tickets are selling out, by the way. We have an early bird ticket that is ending end of this month, actually. And the early bird ticket is a special ticket because only early birds have a free ticket to fly to Africa. How cool is that? You know how tickets are, yeah? Right now, I don't know whether you've checked the price of the ticket. You're going to get a flight ticket from Europe or from UK to go and come back for free, but only applies for the early bird ticket where they get the raffle ticket where they're going to win for that ticket price. So we're encouraging you, check out on all these events. Lydia, I don't have your flyer here yet, but it's also coming as well. And quite a lot of activities connecting yourself to the content. Did I miss anything else, Dr. Lucy? No, we have already covered. What are we doing in the US? You're going to tell us next time. Also in the continent.
Yeah, we want to come to the US as well, Dr. Lucy.
Yes, we're gonna be there. Right now she's in Kenya. She's moving from both countries. It's one of our, that's the best package for the diaspora, and that we're gonna talk about that next time. So thank you so much, and see you next time at these events. We're hosting this every third Friday of the month. So we'll be coming back again here with the next guest. So thank you so much and good night and enjoy your weekend. And don't forget, it can only be God. That
can only be God.
Only be God. Bye for now.
Bye.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.